Tim,
Yeah.
Tim, just say and Peggy. Just say and Peggy.
And Peggy. Peggy!
96,000. Damn. Holla dollar.
Okay.
I'm running the audition, and I was like, why are we having this audition? Like, I told Andy that I would do it. And she was like, wait, you'll do it?
Tell me something I don't know. A little off the top and a little off the side. A little bit of news you've never heard around the barrier.
Hello there, and welcome to this week's episode of the Friendzone Club. Today we're joined by, of course, myself, Joey, Tom, Timothy, and our special guest, Stephanie, who was the dance captain for In the Heights and the associate choreographer of Hamilton. So, hello.
Woo!
Yeah. Hi.
And all the way from New York. Thank you for the introduction.
Exactly. So how's quarantine over in New York then for you? I've heard it's quite different from over here in Britain.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it's like over there, but it has been like a full lockdown over here. Like, there's not really much to do or anywhere to go. Most people are working from home. It's lightened up a bit because we're in now phase 2 of reopening. But yeah, it has been, lots of masks, lots of solitary confinement.
Yeah.
Out at restaurants, lots of cooking at home. Everyone's, making bread and banana cakes and
Love it. So what have you been
Sounds
up to during quarantine then? Tell us a bit about what you've been doing.
Well, I have a 1-year-old.
Yes.
So I do a lot of chasing baby around the house. Which another aspect of quarantine is that there is no childcare, right? So if you haven't quarantined with a family member or someone else who's able to watch your child, it's really a lot of baby watching. And so I've been doing a lot of that. Also, the community has a lot of online classes to partake in. And so I was dancing quite a bit, sometimes wearing him in a little baby carrier, sometimes, just having him pull on my legs. But I was taking a lot of online dance classes for a while. Just shape and whatnot. And just chasing him around, really.
Awesome. Sounds like fun. So from In the Heights then. In the Heights, what a musical. I absolutely love it. Coming out as a film next year, am I right? Next year?
Well, it was supposed to be released this June, but now they've pushed it back, yeah.
Yes, with Anthony Ramos as the lead. I've got very high hopes for that. It's going to be amazing. So about In the Heights, when you were the dance captain for that, what was your favorite moment from doing In the Heights then?
Well, I was an original cast member, so I got to sort of create the show from the very beginning and to help the choreographer, sort of realize his vision, especially as the dance captain. That allows me to, both be in charge of like maintaining the integrity and writing down the show and everything that, the dancers and the actors need to remember. My very favorite part of the show, I loved when I was performing, doing Alabanza in the second act, where the movie itself, the film is going to be a bit different. The story's changed quite a bit. It's not the show that we all know. And I actually know some of the people that did the show in West End, Joe Aaron Reed, and, of course, the folks from Hamilton that were in the show. And I know that it was quite different on the West End as well. So, the movie is going to be a third version of that. And yeah, I love being a part of the creation process. And then as far as performing, like I said, I love doing that song Alabanza, which I don't know. I know it's in the movie, a part of it, but I don't know exactly how it falls in the movie.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's a slower one, that one, but In the Heights as well. So it's an amazing song. I love that song. Was there any backstage moment in the rehearsal process which you absolutely loved doing, or was Alabanza the full on best part of it?
Well, I have a fun story. So when I was off Broadway, right, because we opened the show in New York, it's a little different than the way you guys have it over there in the UK, where Broadway only exists inside of this little Broadway square, right? So you have to be from 40th Street to 56th or something, and then from 7th to 8th any theaters outside of that little square radius, which is, you know, like 12 blocks or so, is actually off Broadway. And so like the Tony Awards, right? Like your Olivier's, people can receive Olivier's for shows that are not performed. Like we, you know, the West End is all spread out. There's something over on this side of London, Trafalgar Square's over here and everything.
Yeah, manic.
Right, you can only get a Tony if you do a show on that 13 block radius. So all the regional work that you do, let's say that you're performing in a show on 60th Street and 9th Avenue, right? So just outside of Times Square. That's not Broadway, and it's not eligible for a Tony Award. The whole thing is that we open shows here outside, out of town, right? So out of town can actually be off Broadway, out of the Broadway Square. So instead of opening in the Heights for its trial period out of town, let's say in California or something, or Chicago, we actually opened it on 37th and 10th. So just off Broadway. So we did the show there, and when you're doing an out-of-town trial, same thing as you guys would do in a trial run in the UK, where you have, you know, you do the show for an audience, maybe the audience doesn't respond quite so well to a song, and then the next day you go in rehearsal and you change the song and you change the words and you change the choreography, and then you try something new the next night, and that's what happens during the preview process. So we were doing previews off Broadway for In the Heights, so all that story to say, back story, and one of the girls from the show got injured, Karen Olivo, and her understudy was the girl who was in the ensemble, right? So it was like an internal cover. We had no other covers. I was a swing and dance captain, and there was no other women. So it was all the onstage women and then me to cover all of them. So she
my God.
on for Karen Olivo for Vanessa, and I had to go on for her. Now, mind you, I've of course been learning all the vocal parts and all the dance tracks, but like you don't really get a chance to practice it necessarily. And so there was a part of the song Paciencia y Fe where, you know, Abuela sings about her life back in Cuba. And so the off-Broadway space was very small. In order to get to the dressing rooms, you had to the subway station on stage. So the subway station on actually a practical set of steps that went downstairs to the dressing rooms. And so I had to, so if you were off stage singing, for example, you would be huddled somewhere in a piece of the set where the audience couldn't see you. So there's one set of singing, backup singing. If you listen to the cast album, I haven't listened to the UK, but the Broadway cast album, it's a bit of difficult singing in Paciencia y Fe where we're all singing off stage. So I had never done it before. So I get off stage and I'm like looking for a place to find some privacy and cover my ear and find my note. And Lin grabs me, okay, Lin-Manuel Miranda, who was playing Usnavi at the time. He grabs me and he huddles me with the guy who played Piragua guy, Eliseo Roman, and one of the girl who played Carla, Janet DeCall. So the four of us are in like a sports huddle. And we're doing the, like doing the whole harmony. And we have all four different parts, okay? And I've never done part by myself, let alone with people who wrote the harmonies sitting right there, forehead to forehead. And I'm like, gosh, you better not miff this up because like he's right here. And it's one of my favorite moments because it was just like I was so scared, but so happy to be performing the show. And like, you know, sometimes you say, I actually just got off a Zoom with like a career day for a bunch of high school kids. And they were like, well, acting is easy because you don't necessarily need a college degree, right? You don't have to do that. And I was like, yeah, but you have to realize that the trade-off for not having a college degree is having experience, right? Because experience is like, if you go to become a social worker, you've got college and a master's degree or university in UK, right? So you know that you're going into the field with experience. If you don't have a college degree in dance, you still, or performing, you still need experience. And I was like, that moment was such like, I totally like leveled up, right? In my performance, like if you consider that moment, you have leveled up. And so that's actually really a fun story and something that I love and will cherish always.
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know why, but when he said the subway, he had to take the subway station to the dressing rooms on stage.
Yeah.
For a minute, I thought you actually meant the real subway station led into the theatre, and I was like, wait, what? When did they? America has subway stations leading into theatres?
Right.
What?
Not quite.
It was set subway station, but still, you know, there were times when people would get injured during the show. And so for us as the swings, the backups, if we were watching from the house, we'd have to, like a regular person walking from the audience, walk on stage, walk down the subway, go to the costume and our microphone on to get ready. So it was definitely a fun thing if someone in the audience would see that.
Yeah.
That is insane. So you were talking about the Tonys earlier, about how only on Broadway can get Tonys, and In the Heights got 4, which is incredible. So were you actually at the Tonys for that award ceremony, actual award ceremony? How was that whole experience with getting 4 Tonys for a musical that you helped create?
Yeah, you know, that was my first time at a Tony Awards, and so honestly the whole experience was so overwhelming, like in a good way, and also overwhelming. You know, so there was only 2 swings, me and a man named Michael Balderrama, and they only had actually when we got to Broadway we added 3 more swings, so there was 5 of us off stage, and so they did not have the 5 of us perform at the Tony Awards. And so that was also like, we were kind of gutted because it was like, you know, we had worked so hard, we helped keep the show up, and then we kind of had to watch from the sidelines. And of course we were supportive of our friends and we wanted, you know, them to perform well. And then of course when we won, we all got to run down and go on stage, and that big picture that you see of everyone, we're all there, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
But you know, being a part of the Tony Awards is such a special experience. And when I did Hamilton, I was also the dance captain in a swing, but we actually all got to perform at the Tony Awards. So that was nice, kind of like full circle to come back with the whole team that did In the Heights to perform Hamilton, and then to be a part of the on-stage experience of that and create it was, you know, once in a lifetime. Talk about a bucket list thing. It was just so cool.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing, because all 4 of us are budding actors, all at York College doing acting ourselves, so it's just an absolute dream. So in the Heights, what was your favorite dance to perform, like full-on dance number, because there's quite a few good ones in there?
The club number, and like you guys didn't have the same obviously version as we did, but the club number of the original version was like magical. That horn would come out, and then the red dress girl would cross, and then the yellow dress, and like the black short, and I got to play all those parts because as the swing I got to do all of them, and every time it was so thrilling, and you just get the spotlight and get to have your awesome dance moment, this big salsa pass, and that was my favorite.
Oh, that's amazing. I absolutely love that. So about you then, what's going to happen? Have you got any plans for after quarantine ends, like after everything's all released and after we're back to normal? Do you have any idea what you're doing? That sounds weird. Do you have any idea what you're going into? Any plans?
Yeah, you know, we're actually, I don't know what it's like in the UK, but we're actually in the middle of a really tumultuous, the quarantine is not the biggest news anymore. You know, no one talks about the quarantine. The protests are really on the forefront, and life here is very different than it was before. So there's definitely no going back to normal. You know, a lot of the Broadway actors, you know, Black actors, people of color have spoken out about a lot of the injustices that have happened. And so I think there's going to be a lot of reckoning that has to happen on Broadway. And I don't think that we're going back in a lot of ways. Yeah. One, they're predicting, you know, nothing's opening until well into 2021. So we know that we are not coming back even until then. When we come back, you know, it's going to really be about seeing how we can move into this new understanding and move into this new place of, you know, acceptance and inclusion. And truthfully, that's where my focus is, because, you know, the quarantine feels like secondary now to all of that tumult that's happening, and necessary.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we should, a big respect to everyone who is protesting for the Black Lives Matter movement. It's massive. It's incredible. Like this is been coming for a long time, and it's here, and it needs to be done. And I'm seeing it all over the world. It's incredible, and I can't be like, I mean, I'm proud to be part of this movement, and everyone's being part of this movement. I'm loving seeing all the kindness and the love. There are some, hate going on, bad things going on, but that is trumped by the absolute sheer amount of support, pride that is going on. And I really think after these protests have achieved their goal, the world's going to be a better place, because I think no one's going to stop until we see change. And I know I won't stop until I see change. And I know we're not going to stop.
Yeah.
So
No, we're not.
I'm just really happy to see these protests and people finally
Speaking out.
Speaking out against the morally wrong injustices against, just any race, really. That's not white. It disgusts me, but it's incredible what's going on.
Yeah, it's necessary and it's huge here. It's the tide is here, and it does not feel like it's going to be a drop in the bucket. It feels like a full turnover, which is a lot of things. I won't just put one adjective on it because there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Hopefully it'll all end up correctly, end up how it's supposed to be, instead of how it has been for so long.
Yeah,
definitely. So during like everything that's been going on, then have you had any particularly good moments? Have you had any standout like actual favorite moments from this time?
So every day at 7:00 here, everybody comes out into the street and applauds for the frontline workers, the doctors and nurses and people who are working, janitors and janitors that are keeping the hospitals clean, and the grocery store workers, and everyone that was an essential worker and was not able to quarantine and had to put themselves out there. And, even though the quarantine's sort of ending, we kind of still do it every day in my neighborhood, in my town. And I know a lot all over New York, they're still doing it. And that was like a really, especially because, I was home alone a lot with a baby, and so just like having not seen anyone that speaks other than my child all day, to come out every day at 7:00 and applaud and to talk to my neighbors from a distance was really special. And I will definitely take, like, I almost was said to them, like, I wish at 7:00 every day, like every week, we could pick a different group of people to thank and appreciate, and just like every week at 7:00 we show appreciation for a different group of people. Like, that would be such a nice society to live in. And I'm not I don't know, I think that would be really nice, and it has been really nice.
Definitely, because there's definitely not enough appreciation for everything that there could be in the world going on at any time. It just all could get so much better. And it can do. Yeah. It will do, hopefully.
I think realistically, there is anything we could do humanely to thank frontline workers and anyone there's nothing we can do, because they've done so much that we can't go, like just saying, oh, thank you, and clapping. It's nice. Yep. It's really nice, and it's great. But I don't think there's anything that like actually will measure up to what they've done. Yeah. Which is sad, but it's also incredible, because they are incredible people out there. And I appreciate them all, because they've kept us all safe and alive.
Amen.
Got to keep alive.
Yeah.
Got to stay alive. Now, let's move on to Hamilton.
Okay.
My absolutely favourite musical ever. The boys will know I am in love with this musical.
He loves it. He loves it. He won't stop talking about it. It's all he ever talks about. Hamilton,
got the jumper on right here as well, from when I went 2018, I think it was. But yeah, it's an absolutely incredible musical, and it's just so moving. So how did you actually get involved in it? Did someone call you up for it? Did Lynn call you up for it, or was it just, what was it? What got you involved?
So after doing In the Heights, I actually went on to, I associate choreographed the tour. So I went from being a performer to setting the company on tour. So I worked with them all again. And then right after the tour, we were developing a new show called Bring It On, which ran on Broadway. And I associate choreographed that show, and I was in it for a brief period. And so that was with Lynn and Andy Blankenbuehler, the choreographer, who I was his associate, and Alex Lackamore. So I worked with them again. And while we were doing Bring It On, Lynn was writing Hamilton. So we actually were already sort of like talking about it, and it was in the ether. And then after Bring It On, I did a show called Fly, which was doing an out-of-town run. Alex, the music director, Andy, the choreographer, Jeff Keller, who was actually the producer of In the Heights and Hamilton, was the director of Fly, and Bill Sherman, who was the co-orchestrator of In the Heights, was the composer of the show. So I kind of had stayed in the family. Like, I just went from one show with them to the next. While I was doing Fly, I auditioned for a show with a whole different team. Not really. Tom Kitt, who did Bring It On, was a co-composer, also the composer of If Then, which was a show I did on Broadway with Idina Menzel and Anthony Rapp. But I got to work with Michael Greif and, like I said, Tom Kitt and Brian Yorkie, who wrote the show. And while I was doing If Then on Broadway, Andy Blankenbuehler and I were discussing, because I had been his associate multiple times, if I wanted to be in Hamilton or if I wanted to associate choreograph. And I had said to him that I was enjoying performing and I thought I wanted to be in it. And then it kind of came down to the wire. He's like, we're going to run auditions in 3 weeks. I need my associate to be with me. Do you want to be in it or not? And I was like, well, I don't want to miss out on the opportunity to choreograph, so I will be your associate. So I took on associate choreographing. We started running the auditions. We hired everyone for the show. We had been doing, principal calls, ensemble calls. And the very last piece of the puzzle usually is to find like the swings and dance captains and stuff. And we were running auditions for female swings and dance captains. And I said to the casting director one day, I'm running the audition. And I was like, why are we having this audition? Like, I told Andy that I would do it. And she was like, wait, you'll do it? And I was like, yeah, I want to be in the show too. Like, I also want to do the show. And she was like, well, I can't cancel it now, but let's just run it and then we'll just be done. So I ran the dance call for the swing and dance captains. And then because off Broadway, like I said, remember, there's only one. There's not enough money off Broadway to have multiple swings. So I knew there was only one spot. And so we ran the audition, but then at the end of it, I was like, it's me. So she called them up after and said, Stephanie's going to do it. And they were like, oh my God, we're so excited. So it was not, kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. So before In the Heights then, did you audition for it and get in? Is that how you originally became part of the whole group, the family?
Yeah. So In the Heights, I did your sort of regular traditional audition, which for me was an open dance call, which I was actually on tour with Bombay Dreams at the time, another Broadway show that was touring the country. And I had to get on a flight to fly to my next tour city. So I auditioned in the morning with the men's open call. And then I got called back. So I flew home from Seattle, which is where we were on tour, which I don't know if you guys know the States, but it's further from New York than London is. So it's really far. Mm-hmm. I flew home from Seattle. I did all 8 shows. Sunday night, we did our last show. It was like 2 shows on Sunday. I took a red-eye flight from Seattle to New York. I did the callback in the morning with the women. I flew back to Seattle to do the shows. I got another callback. I took the red-eye again from Seattle home. I did I landed at 7:40 a.m. My vocal call was 10:40. I did a vocal call, which I don't know if you guys have tried to fly and then sing that many hours time. It was like not my best vocal call, but thankfully the casting director had seen me do audition for Rent a bunch. She had tried to cast that for a while. So she was like, I know she can sing, like, just don't count this. And so I flew home feeling really dejected. Like I flew back to Seattle thinking I had not gotten it. This was actually our final week of tour. This was closing. So I did closing week of tour. I flew home from tour. She called me back. She's like, we're having one last call for the swings. We need to find some swings. So she's like, the audition's gonna be like in 2 or 3 weeks. Just like prepare yourself. And so I prepared and then I auditioned. And that audition was for one more female onstage track and a swing track. And that was it. Then I auditioned on that last time, and I sang, and I got the job. So I met them all through a really long audition process, and then obviously got to know them doing In the Heights.
That's insane. You must have been absolutely just tired as hell doing all of those, like, all those flights.
And I spent all my money on red eyes. So I was like, I need this job. All the money I saved on tour, I spent flights home. No, yeah, it was really like an arduous process because I was so tired. It was like the end of 10 months on tour. It was a lot of that time zone change back and forth was really hard. And I really wanted the job, and I had heard about it. I was a few months prior, the tour was in Texas, and we were driving from Houston to Dallas. We didn't fly because it was short, so we just took a tour bus. And a friend of mine on tour was like, my friend is an intern at a literary agency. They have this guy, his name is Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's writing a show. You have to listen to this demo tape. And he played me the demo of the 4 first songs of In the Heights. And he was like, you'd be perfect for the show. When it comes around, you have to audition. So when we were going to Seattle, and I saw on the casting call that morning there was an open call for In the Heights, the show that like I have to know about, I was like, I have to go to it. So it was really, it was like meant to be, and I really like wanted it.
But that goes to like show that good things come to those who work hard, not to those who wait.
Hard work pays off.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah, I will say that sometimes good things go to lots of people, but I will say that you can't guarantee that you're going to be lucky, but you can work hard and earn yourself lots more chances to actually get picked for that lucky draw.
Yeah.
That is, I believe so strongly in hard work and how it pays off.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes you could just be lucky and be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm trying to think of an example of who's. Oh, I can't.
Ross Beedman.
Ross Beedman. Sorry, he was the first person who came on our podcast, and he said he's very lucky.
But you know, the thing is like with luck is like you can be lucky and you can end up somewhere, but hard ensures that you stay there, because lucky people who belong somewhere who didn't earn it, they don't stay, they fall real fast. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. That's interesting, actually.
Yeah. I mean, when you say that statement, I'm thinking, yeah. That's yeah.
Never thought of it that way. I think Tim's got something he'd like to ask here.
I mean, before I was going to ask a question, I was going to say people who get lucky, like, they just take the luck. But, I mean, some people who get the luck actually get it. They actually do eventually, I guess, put the hard work in. Sometimes.
Yeah.
They realise that, oh, look at this opportunity that has just fallen into my lap. Now I'm going to work for it. Yeah, yes. I get it.
Right.
You know, all these studies on, like, the human psyche, and, like, for example, if you were going to take a course in, you know, like self-empowerment or something, right? And would offer the course for free. And it's like, okay, guys, we have this amazing course and it's free. And if you take the course, you're going to have the life of your dreams, and you're going to get everything you want, because right? And then you offer the same exact course, but you offer it for like, you know, $399, 399 pounds. The people who have to pay for the course are going to, like, this is proven in studies, the people who pay for the course will take more from the course, because when they're there through the minutes, they will think, I have to make this worth my while because I've spent my hard-earned money on it. When you give something free, you're going to be like, oh, you're at the course on my phone. Oh, well, I can do it another time. I can take the course again. I'm not paying attention. Oh, I'm not going to show up this morning. It was free. I have nothing to lose. Like, so the investment that you have is actually directly correlated to the return on the investment that you get out of it. So actually, the working hard and the luck thing, right? Like, you can get something for free equals lucky. You can work hard for something equals pay for it. At the end of the day, it actually all evens out, because if you haven't done the work or had to pay for it, you don't get anything from it, and that the return is going to be much, much less. So it, you know, in the end, even if someone falls on some good luck or you know, it doesn't actually work out, because the human psyche doesn't work that way.
And Well, you have got lucky getting into In the Heights. Well, and the hard work's paid off, not just luck. I'm not. Yeah, completely regret saying that. But yeah, I have worked hard to get into In the Heights, and then that's brought you along to be in Hamilton, which is now one of the most well-known musicals, modern day musicals around at the moment. So what was your favorite moment from rehearsing, performing, everything Hamilton? What was your favorite standout moment from that?
I think the Tonys that I talked about. I think they were really special, and it was a bucket list thing. Like I said, we were all together. It was before anyone left the show, and it was a magical experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so did you how many speaking I am completely got a blank there. So have you kept in contact? There you go. That's what I was thinking of. Have you kept in contact still? Are you still in contact with the members of the cast of Hamilton and In the Heights?
A lot of us stay in touch. The Heights still has a Google email. So we all, an email chain, we still email each other, and all the folks from Hamilton, especially with the Black Lives Matter movement now, we've all been keeping in touch and, trying to figure out how we can amplify our voices by sharing them. And so, yeah, we all talk all the time.
That's sick. Awesome. Now, I think...
I was going to ask, right? I wanted to know, how was it growing, when did you know that you wanted to become a dance captain, choreographer, swing, when did you know, how's it growing up?
Become a dance captain or a swing. I didn't know what those things were. I just knew dance and I be a performer. So I always say I love dancing from 2 years old on, and I always wanted to do it. And then when I got to college, I realized I was a double major in college. I majored in dance and I majored in genetics and microbiome research. And I knew that I loved both those things. I love science, and I was very interested. I applied to medical school, and I actually deferred my admission for a year, and I came to New York to give it a try. And when I gave it a try, I was like, this is it. This is for me. And I love it. I love this job. I love the hustle. I love the grind. I love performing. So I would say that I always knew it, but I don't think you really know about a thing until you do it. You can be a senior in college, be this close to doing it, but you actually have no idea what it means to actually do it. So when I actually did it, I was like, even the hard parts, I loved them. And that's how I knew that I really was meant for that.
Yeah. That's the best way to be. When you know you love something is when the hard bits are still amazing. Yeah. When the hard bits, you still feel like you're doing so much.
Mm-hmm.
That's, yeah.
At times, those are the most rewarding parts as well. Because you've been there, sweat, tears, blood, whatever, and now you've produced something the world loves.
Definitely.
Right. I've got two questions right here for you. Right. So how when you do performance, we all have those funny moments, or someone makes a mistake, but it's a lovable mistake, right? Did you have any moments like that you remember clearly, or that always pops up, something that made you laugh or was unexpected?
I mean, every night. Every night something funny happens in a show. You guys consider, you're going, you're performing in shows. It's the same thing on Broadway and in the West End. Something happens so ridiculous every night. It's a miracle that the audience doesn't catch it, and they never do. But I remember I was doing my first performance of Hamilton. I was doing the song "Quiet Uptown," which is very serious, and the words are actually really confusing for that song, right? You see him in the street, walking by your side, talking by your side, have pity. He is working through the unimaginable. And then you go, the next one, if you see them in the street, walking by himself, talking to himself, have pity. he is trying to do the unimaginable. So like the words are like working through, trying to, they are, he is, they're together, we're together.
Yeah.
And I was playing the girl in the front. So like in the off-Broadway, the first seat of the audience is like, I'm like standing on top of her. And all very serious. The audience is crying, and I'm like, I go to start, and Angelica sings, and then we go to sing our thing, and I was like, I don't know which of the fucking words is gonna. So I just like start saying something, and this girl from the audience looks up to me with tears in her eyes, and she's so in the moment, and I'm not looking at her, but like I can see her, and I flub the words, and she could see she's totally taken out of it. Her tears stopped falling, and she's like, what?
Oh no.
God, Stephanie. I didn't, at that part of it, especially in a long show, if you're a swing, like I made it that far. That part is like 2 hours and 37 minutes or something. Like I like did this and this and this and this, and then I get to that, and I'm like, this is where you mess up, like in the 11th hour. So that was funny. I don't know, not funny, but that's amazing.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
I remember. Sorry, Tim, go on.
I was gonna say, I bet it'd be fun to play. Can you spot the accident or spot the mistake?
Yeah, you've got like run through them again.
Fans always think they know where they are. The fans are like, I saw this happen tonight, and you're like, that's not an accident. That happens every night. You just never know. So like, they never see the things that are the real accidents.
Yeah, just be like, it's in the script. It's in the script. It's all good.
I remember like. I think it's last year. I did my first performance as like a principal on stage and whatnot. And it's like I'm not the best dancer and all, but we were doing this. It's Wizard of Oz. I'm in my Tin Man costume, right? And it's quite flimsy. It's a cheap one. So it's quite a flimsy costume, and I've got this weird helmet hat thing on. And we've got this jazzy number dancing to it, and everyone's moving around. And my thing's like falling down in front of my eyes. I'm falling halfway down my face. So halfway through the biggest dance number we're doing in the show, I can't see anything, and I've got an axe swinging an axe around with all these like jitterbugs all around me. And my mum was weird, so she told me she could see like me not being able to see. And I'm just like, every time I'm on the floor trying to, so I don't smack anyone. I was like, that's my great first show there. Fantastic.
Yeah. Happens to the best of us.
I mean, that's like the time, Joe, when me and you did the performance where we were two Hitman, and I'm swinging a cup about, completely forgetting I'm not supposed to swing it. So I was supposed to hold it like it's filled with coffee, but I just forgot and I just started swinging it. And then at the end, we were supposed to sip it, but there was no in it. So we just like pretend to like drop it, and then a tea bag just dropped, and that was I was trying to drink tea.
I was just trying to have a full cup of hot tea, and you're literally like this the whole time through the show, and everyone's laughing.
My character just loves playing.
We used to talk about in the Heights the practicality of the heat, and so like the director Tommy Kail would always be like, you have to play the practicality of the heat. It's July. It's like in the theater, it's freezing, right? They had set the air to 65, so the audience is cold. So it's the opposite of hot. But we also used to carry around these coffee cups in the whole beginning, and we'd always be dancing, doing all these crazy dances, but you'd have to like keep the coffee cup like it was real, because then when you go to sip it, and so we know that story. I've been there before. I have to put all the and how to hold their tankards like there's actually drinks in it.
Yeah.
But you have a question, Timothy? You had a second question?
Oh yeah, I did. Oh yeah.
Oh my God, Tim.
Sorry, I was sorry, I completely forgot. Right. So my other question is, right. So before you did like the big performances and stuff, right? What was it like before that? Like your acting and stuff. Like, what did you do? Like, if you did.
So when I graduated college, I spent like a summer abroad. So I just like lived in Spain teaching English to like a family for a bit. And then I moved to New York, and I had auditioned for an off-Broadway show, which I booked. So I was performing in an off-Broadway show. From there, I met someone that had me book my first off-Broadway show. And then the show moved venues, and then they lost the choreographer. So they asked me to choreograph it. So then I choreographed that off-Broadway show while I was doing that, I was dancing in these dance companies. Like, dance classes are very expensive. You know, training after college is expensive, but it continues to be expensive to train after you leave college, but you still need to train and maintain your craft. So one of the ways that I found to do it as a dancer is I just like would join these dance companies and like dance crews, right? So I would then, if you're in the dance crew and someone's choreographing a dance and you have to be in it, that's like a free dance class because you're learning, you know, whatever. Yeah. So I was in a number of like dance crews, and we would have performances, and we would have like, you know, street performances and stadium performances. And I ended up backup dancing for this reggaeton artist at Madison Square Garden, which is like one of our really huge venues here in New York. And I did a commercial with Sierra, the singer. So I got that from, I was taking a dance class at Broadway Dance Center, and there were some scouts there, like casting scouts, and they scouted me for the commercial, and then an agent scouted me, and that agent was the agent who sent me into my first Bombay Dreams audition, which is how I got my equity card, which is how I got my union card. And so yeah, I did, you know, I looked for auditions in the audition publication, Backstage, which is what we have here. I don't know what you guys, I mean, obviously Equity has the stuff on their website, but so I just went to a lot of auditions and took as many dance classes as I could. And just, you know, one thing led to another.
Yeah.
And then you ended up where you are today, which is perfect, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's time for a game.
Game time!
Game.
Oh, God. Covering his face.
So, game time today, everybody. I will be asking each member of the Friendzone Club and Stephanie to sing a line or as much as they want to of a certain song. First round is going to be from Hamilton. The second round, the song is also going to be from Hamilton, and then the third round is going to be from In the Heights. So I'm going to go to Joey first.
Go Joey.
Wait, what? I thought, are we getting a song? Are you giving us a song?
Yes, that's what I'm doing. Joey.
Okay.
Can you sing us a line from You'll Be Back?
Easy peasy. I think the most memorable line from that song is I don't know the tune, but he goes at some points in it, doesn't he? He goes That's it. Is that passable? Do I pass?
No, that was not.
Oh,
sorry. I'm Friendzone now. That was not a pass.
She's spoken.
Wait, what's the song called again? I can get it.
You'll Be Back.
You'll be back. Thank you very much.
Oh, wow.
Okay, Tom.
Hello.
Can we get you to sing a line, please, from Alexander Hamilton?
Okay. Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton. There you go.
Hey, that was easy. Unfair.
So we've got the most tone-deaf people in this.
What was it?
We have claimed that we can't sing.
No, they have. They yes, you have claimed that you can't sing. That is why I'm making you do this. Tim, your song of choice will be the Schuyler Sisters.
Oh yes.
Go on, Tim.
Oh, you won't be saying oh yes when I sing. Your ears will be falling. Right. One sec. Okay. Right, I got this. Sneak into the city just to watch all the guys at. Yeah, there we go.
What?
What? When you stop?
Fine.
You didn't even say You didn't finish it. Finish it.
No, it cuts off out of the thing.
Tim, just say and Peggy. Just say and Peggy.
And Peggy.
Peggy.
Woohoo!
Okay.
I think you should get
now it's time to be put to shame.
Yeah, there we go.
Stephanie, can you sing us a little bit of My Shot, please?
Oh, boom, boom.
Now I have Skylar's in my head. Hold on.
You got this.
Ask anybody why we living fast and we laugh, reach for a flask. We have to make this moment last. That's plenty. Scratch that. This is not a moment. It's the movement. Where all the... What? Wait, I got lost.
Brother.
That was a part.
Hey, yeah,
Well
that
done.
was more than enough.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you all a second chance.
Wait, who won round one?
I think
that's
Stephanie
obvious.
has to have won that round. I'm sorry, guys, but
Are we allowed to
I-
improvise and rap it?
I'm already starting to regret choosing this as a game. Okay, Joey.
Shoot. Yeah.
Joey, can you sing us a line from the story of tonight, please?
Let's have another round tonight. Is that part of it? Is it like the first person goes, let's have another round tonight, and then people, let's have another round tonight.
Do it again. I'll do the background.
All right, you do. Let's have another round tonight.
Let's have another round tonight.
Boom.
There you go.
That was good. That's gonna be hard.
That was better than your first round.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom.
Yeah.
Satisfied.
Okay. Someone
Wait,
in
that's my
distress
one.
means someone looking pretty.
Hey.
There you go.
Yeah, that was
About it.
actually with rhythm. Oh
Yeah.
Wait, what
Okay.
was the line? Did you say?
Do it again.
Someone in a dress next to someone looking pretty.
Oh, got it.
Nice.
Wait, but that's
One of the first lines.
That's not that.
How
That'd
okay,
be
my
Skylar
song's
Sisters.
mine is that song. You've messed up. You've
Oh
messed
no, I
up,
have.
Harry.
Sorry. No, Tom. Tom. That was say no to this, but
Yeah,
Oh, Brett, what?
yeah. Say no to this. Yeah, I was like, that's not the right
sorry.
song.
No, I got the wrong
God,
song there.
Harry.
Okay.
I think it passes anyway.
Yeah, I give that a pass. 100%.
Yeah.
Technical errors.
Let's go.
Tim.
Am I allowed to rap this?
Yeah.
Of
Yes,
course.
please.
Of course. Tim, hit us with Satisfied. Come on.
Okay. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Now everybody give it up for the maid of honor.
Look at him looking at that.
He's having fun.
Looking
He's
to the
having
side.
I'm sorry that I made your ears fall off. I'm really
No,
sorry.
I love that John Lawrence is British, so.
Oh, there we go, Tim.
Oh, look at that.
Perfect. And Stephanie, could we get you to sing a little bit of Burn by any chance?
Burn, baby.
Oh,
burn.
these are hard.
Is that the wrong one?
Burn.
I read every letter you wrote to me. You told the whole world how you brought this girl into our bed. In clearing your name, you have ruined our lives.
Wow.
That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow.
Okay, well, I think the only person who got that round wrong, I think I'm the loser of that round because of my technical difficulty.
Nice one.
Okay then, here we go. From
Final
In
round.
the Heights, Joey,
Oh, wait. Yeah. Go on.
Champagne.
Oh, yeah. That's
Someone pop the champagne.
Yeah.
That is
Looking very confused there, Joey.
Yeah. I hear that phrase a lot in my house. Oh,
Wait,
look.
but did you know the song, or did you just figure that must be a line of the song?
No comment.
Okay, let's go to Tom now. Tom, can you say the line from No Mediga?
Remember Diego? Oh, God.
He's messed up.
Oh, no.
You did well last
Do
round.
you remember a line from No Mediga?
No.
Wait, and then say
Okay,
Mediga.
right. Tom, I'll
Mediga.
give you Tom, I'll give you 96,000.
Oh.
Okay.
Give you another chance.
All right, let me think. 96,000. Damn. Holla dollar.
That was
Okay.
Is that all right?
I think out of the Friendzone Club, Tom's probably
best.
up there at the moment.
Yeah.
And Tim, can you give us a line from No Mediga instead?
Yeah, I can actually. Yeah. Okay. Tell me something I don't know. A little off the top and a little off the side. A little bit of news you've never heard around the barrier or whatever.
It's better than what I expected. It's better than what I expected. Well done, Tim.
Well done.
Are you reading that?
Well done.
I did not read it. I read it in my mind.
You could just
I
say
read
him
in
all
my
the whole
mind.
time looking away. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that is the lyrics. Oh, yeah.
It's just part of the dance.
Yeah.
It was good. That was pretty good.
I'd rate that
Thank you.
choreography by Tim.
Oh.
And
now it's time for
Stephanie.
cooking.
Oh, and Stephanie, here we go. It won't be long now.
Boys around the way holler at me when I'm walking down the street. They're machismo pride doesn't break my stride. It's a compliment, so they say.
Hey!
Hey.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was
I think I won
amazing.
that one.
I was
Yeah, like you just moved away from the camera.
I think we're gonna probably have to give that one to Stephanie because
Guys,
I'll give
I mean,
Tom
I
the
think there was any
consolation
competition
prize
here,
for
you know.
Yeah.
Tom the consolation prize for the Friendzone Club.
Yeah.
Can I get a
Anyway.
participation prize, please?
Yes, Joey, you can get a participation prize. Well done.
What does Tim get?
Oh,
What does Tim get? Tim get anything?
Tim gets well done.
Thumbs up.
Tim gets well done.
There you go.
Well
You tried.
done.
You tried.
Well done.
That's the best I can give you, Tim.
But are we not focusing on how Tim cheated the whole time?
Excuse me, I mentally had it. I read it in my mind. That's all that counts.
Yeah.
Dear.
Okay. Now, just one more question from me. Stephanie,
yes.
what was your favorite song in Hamilton then? What was your favorite, just all around song?
I
do?
think the best song to perform is Room Where It Happens. It's what we all love. We all love doing that song. It's fun to dance. It's fun to sing. Everyone on stage is just like giving you fire. It's a great song.
It is amazing. I love it. And before we have to go, Stephanie, is there anything that you'd like to promote here today?
Well, actually, I have a nonprofit organization called Katie's Art Project, and I connect kids facing life-threatening and terminal illnesses with people in our profession, dancers, singers, and they create and collaborate lasting legacy projects to really give their voice a lasting impact, especially for these kids whose lives are very short. And we released our songs on iTunes. Anthony Ramos did a song for us called Cry Today, Smile Tomorrow, which became like a YouTube sensation. He did the song on She's Gotta Have It. But we have lots of songs. So if you go on iTunes, Spotify, looking up Katie's Art Project, we have lots of songs there. And of course, stuff you could find on our website. And it is really my passion. So, would love for people to check it out.
Wow. That is incredible, incredible. Actually, yeah.
That is cool.
That's an amazing.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, that is.
I mean, I don't think any of us were expecting a charity to be plugged. We were all like, oh yeah, probably like Instagram, and then she's like, boom, charity.
Yeah.
That is an amazing cause.
Big respect.
Having me, this is really fun. That speed singing sound, man, that's a fun game. Good job on that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we
Right.
apologise for any hearing damage.
I loved it.
Yeah.
To you and to our audience, to everybody.
I mean, if you love that singing, just wait for Bryn's Got No Talent. I'll be there.
Hey!
But he's got it. Well, guys, thank you.
Dear.
I appreciate it. It was wonderful meeting all of you, and I wish you guys all luck in your careers. And this is all.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Thank you for coming. Yeah.
Yes, we loved it.
So, unfortunately, guys, that is the end of our podcast with Stephanie. So, can we all give her a massive round of applause, guys? That was amazing. Thank you for joining us. And thank you all, or the audience, for tuning in today. And if you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to our channel. And we hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you all in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.